Make yourself a priority. For a number of years or maybe months, you've just been in a place of self neglect. You've not been caring for yourself. You've been skipping meals, you've been eating poorly, you've not been doing the exercise you need. You've just not actually been taking care of yourself at the basic levels, let alone chasing your dreams, doing things that just really light you up and bring you joy. And I know this because you clicked this video. And that tells me that you are at a stage whereby you know you have been neglecting yourself, you have been neglecting your dreams, the things that God has actually put on your heart to do, you have pushed them to the side. And in many ways, I am just the vessel which God is using to share this message. And it's as much a message for you as it is for myself. I'm a mum of two little boys, one who's 4 and one who's 20 months, and I am in the thick of early motherhood. So I don't sit here preaching from the mountaintop. I know that it's very common for people to be like, I know you can just prioritize yourself as a mum, but there are circumstances that make that very difficult. And there's seasons where that can just feel like almost impossible. But I'm not speaking to you if you're in that season. I am speaking to you if you are no longer in that season or just not even a mum, but you are a woman who knows that you have really stopped prioritizing yourself, especially if you have kids. Maybe it was when you had the kids, or maybe you've just been in a rut and in a depression or in a very hard season of life whereby all these things have kind of taken over and you've just not been able to make yourself a priority. You have put yourself on the back burner. You have just failed to actually prioritize your health, your fitness, your nutrition, what you're eating, what you're consuming in your mind, what you're watching, what you're listening to, the people around you. If you have clicked this video, it's not by accident. I asked God tonight, what should I speak on? And this is what he said. He was like, tell her to make herself a priority. That is something that just kept echoing again and again in my spirit. I watched those videos where people are like, God told me, but truly, as a Christian, God laid it upon my heart that you need to make yourself a priority in every area of your life, especially your fitness, your health, your weight. Do you look like someone who is taking care of themselves? And I'm telling you, like, do an honest evaluation of yourself right now. Do you look like you are someone who is actually taking care, that is actually someone who cares about themselves, who's actually making their self a priority? And if the answer is no, then this is the video you needed because you have to, you have to at some point make yourself a priority. Because if you don't, I almost feel like I'm scared to say this, but if you don't make yourself a priority, you are not guaranteed years upon years upon years. You are not guaranteed that God won't move on and say, okay, if I can't use you, I'll use someone else. I'm scared to say that because this feels like this is like almost when God's testing, when God asked Jonah to be obedient and go to Nineveh where he told him to go, and Jonah's trying to go to South London and not go where God asked him. And sometimes we're not obedient in the things that God lays on our heart. And one of the things that recently God had laid upon my heart for several months now is to make myself a priority again, to actually start to take care of the body I'm in and stop trying to make an excuse for why I don't have time to actually eat well or eat a proper nutritious meal or take care of my feet and my nails or my hair. Like, stop making an actual excuse for lack of time and make the time. Because the same way that you make the time to go to work, or you make the time to pay your bills, or you make the time to actually get your kids the right school uniform before they go back to school, or to source activities for them, all these things take time that you say, this is so valuable, this is so important that I do this, that it never gets missed. But somehow you have got into a pattern. You have got into a pattern of giving yourself permission and an excuse as to why you can't take care of yourself, why you haven't done your hair. And I'm not talking about going to a hair salon, I'm talking about you making the time to tidy yourself up, you making the time to prioritize your weight loss, you making the time to actually look after your feet, your hands, and your nails, you making the time. Like, I got into such a rut when I went through last year. I went through a very difficult postpartum season when I had my two babies. I had two boys back to back within 3 years. So I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and I had a really tough postpartum after I had my second. And I remember my mum visiting, and she was like, "Shona, your feet are so dry." And I looked down and I was like, yeah, they are dry. Actually, I didn't have time. I don't have time with two little kids. I'm rushing. I jump out the shower. I'm like, da, 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 da. I think I'm going to go back and cream my foot. Then something's going off here and I've just forgotten to do it. And I had this whole spiel, this whole story. And from that moment, I was like, I will no longer I will no longer allow myself to say I don't have time to cream my foot. Because before I had kids, I had time to cream my foot. And now I have kids, I'm going to make time to cream my foot. Creaming my foot is not the point of this story is not really about my foot. It's about prioritizing the time to do something that is important for me. Creaming my foot is just the example I'm giving, but it's essential because actually taking care of my feet helps me feel better. And these are my feet. I need to walk. I need to get about. I need these feet. And actually, as I'm about to hit 40 next year, I'm like, listen, girl, you haven't got time to be letting your feet go to the wayside. But it was just it was just a reminder. It was just a visual reminder of how easy we get into this habit of saying, I don't have time. You don't have time to prioritize your health. You don't have time to work out. You don't have time to eat a proper, nutritious meal. You don't have time to pursue your dreams of becoming a content creator, of giving yourself the opportunity, your family the opportunity to grow your income from home. You don't have time. No, girl, you have time. You are not choosing to make time. And I had to just sit with that reality for a long while until I just said, okay, I'm going to make time to do these things. I'm going to make time for my feet. I'm going to make time for my nails. And now I'm not a nail girly in terms of like going to the nail salon and stuff. I just take care of my own nails, but I'm going to file them down. I'm going to put my little cuticle cream. I'm going to push back my cuticles. I'm going to paint them, even if it's just a clear something, but I'm going to take care of my feet and hands because that makes me feel good, right? When you have nice feet, nice hands, I don't know what it does, but it does something for me. And I'm sure it does something for you when your feet and nails are just tidy. You just look, I feel better. I look better. I feel good in myself when I can just quickly put on my open toe sandals and just feel good. And as I went through evaluating my weight, of course, I had two babies back to back, two C-sections. I have a diastasis recti where the core, my tummy the muscles have separated. I have all of that. And yet I have neglected to do much about that. So I've kind of just been in a rut in the thick of postpartum, and really just not taken enough time and attention. And I mean, I've just not made the effort to actually think, what can I do to kind of start to repair my core muscles, like my tummy muscles? How do I start to fix this? I was just in such a season where I had so many other things going on that it wasn't a top priority. And I'm saying this because you might be coming out of one of those seasons where for a number of years or maybe months, you've just been in a place of self-neglect where you've just not taken actual care. You've not been caring for yourself. You've been skipping meals, you've been eating poorly, you've not been doing the exercise you need. You've just not actually been taking care of yourself at the basic levels, let alone chasing your dreams, doing things that just really light you up and bring you joy. And This is your reminder to pause on that path and make yourself a priority from today. It doesn't have to be a major overhaul immediately, but think about one thing that you could start that just gives a signal to your brain that you actually are a priority. Like for me, one thing that I started to do was every day in the shower, I have my pommy stone, I have my foot grater, which you just grater it whilst your feet are soft in the shower. You can use this little foot grater and just take off any hard skin or any skin from your feet, and just keep your feet nice and supple. And then as soon as I step out the shower, I step onto my flip-flops, and I use bio oil, and I just nicely seal my foot with some oil and some cream, and boom, we're done. I started that as my daily routine. It didn't take 50 to 80 minutes. It was just a simple 3-4 minute activity. And wow, in a week, my feet were looking literally night and day. And I thought to myself, look how small that little change has been, but how good it made me feel. Like how small that change was, that little additional time and effort, but how much it made me feel better. Every time I put my feet now in sandals, especially in this hot heat wave we've got here in the UK, I feel good. I feel good because I'm taking care of myself. And you can do the same. You can do the exact same thing by just starting with the small things, whether it's a weight loss. It doesn't have to be a drastic 100 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm talking about even if you lost a pound a week, that's progress. Even if you just ate more nutritious meals, that's progress. Even if you just cut out 1 or 2 sweet things and replaced it with a fruit, that's progress. Even if you set your camera up once a day to record a short form video or to record a long form video, that's progress. Or once every week. I don't even mind if it's once a week, but doing something towards the things that you truly want for yourself is what I'm talking about here. Because you are not guaranteed anything. We are not guaranteed days and days, years and years on this earth. God has laid some things on your heart that He wants you to prioritize, whether that is your finances, your health, your wealth, whatever. You know what those things are. And I hope that this video is just a reminder to make yourself a priority today, not tomorrow, today. Because if you have been feeling like you've been neglecting yourself and you stumbled across this video, it's not by accident. This was a message from God for you. Okay, if you're new here, hi, I'm Sherna, and I'm passionate about helping women prioritize themselves and their dreams and their creative pursuits. Like, that is my thing. So if you're a woman who needs just a little reminder every now and again to make yourself a priority, and even some steps on what to do, then make sure you join my mailing list as well. Link is in the description. And it's where we really get into the deep nitty gritty of just really stepping into all that God has called us to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, then be sure to watch the next one here. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.